Welcome to the Deep Dive, the show that really tries to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight from, well, a whole stack of sources.
Yeah,
We want to give you a shortcut to being truly well-informed.
that's the goal.
And today, we're tackling one of those really enduring questions, when it keeps coming up in the business world. Who is actually better equipped to steer a company toward, long-term greatness?
Mm.
Is it the visionary founder, or is it the seasoned professional CEO?
It's a classic debate, isn't it? Pits that raw, sometimes chaotic passion against, well, disciplined, systematic execution.
Exactly. And it's just packed with surprising insights when you start digging.
It really is. And it's a fascinating dilemma because, as we'll definitely see, the answer is rarely simple. It's not universal.
Right. This isn't about us declaring a winner here.
No, not at all. It's much more about understanding the distinct strengths, the often indispensable contributions that both founders and professional CEOs bring to the table.
Yeah, understanding those differences.
Right. So for you listening, maybe you're a founder yourself, wrestling with those stealing challenges. Or maybe you're a professional manager aiming for the C-suite.
Or maybe you're just intensely curious about what makes companies tick, what makes them thrive.
In any case, this deep dive should really illuminate some crucial distinctions for you.
Okay, so we're really going to explore two powerful perspectives today. Sometimes they even clash a bit.
They often do.
So on one side, we're drawing pretty heavily from that raw, founder-centric wisdom. Stuff you find in books like Ben Horowitz's The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
Ah, yes. Classic.
And the argument there is really that a founder's deep moral authority, their unyielding personal passion, and that long-term, almost primal vision, it's irreplaceable.
Especially when things get really tough.
Exactly. When a company faces those existential threats, that's where that deep emotional connection to the creation becomes this almost superhuman advantage.
Okay, so that's one perspective. What's the other side?
Well, then we'll channel the more systematic, meticulous insights. Think research-driven works like Jim Collins' Good to Great.
Right, the data-driven approach.
Yeah. And this perspective, it often highlights how experienced CEOs, often ones promoted from within the company, actually.
The ones who know the ropes already.
Precisely. How they bring a level of discipline, structured thinking,
Yeah.
and adaptability that's just absolutely critical if you want to scale effectively and build something truly enduring.
Something that lasts.
Right. And this is where that raw, unbridled founder energy, while it's incredibly powerful, it might paradoxically become a liability.
Interesting. If it's not channeled correctly.
Yeah, if it doesn't have the right systems and processes put in place around it.
Got it. So our mission today.
Our mission is to unpack all these nuanced layers. This whole leadership dilemma. We'll look at compelling case studies, some foundational management principles, and hopefully some surprising insights from this great collection of sources you've provided.
And the aim is that by the end of this deep dive, you'll have a much more complete, maybe more actionable picture of what really drives companies to succeed at different stages.
Sounds good. So maybe grab a coffee. Let's roll up our sleeves and unearth some gems here.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's start by really digging into the founder's corner. There's this powerful, almost visceral argument, isn't there?
Yeah.
That founders just possess this unrivaled edge.
Where does that edge come from primarily?
Well, it seems driven by their unique singular vision, their unyielding passion for what they created, and this kind of moral authority.
Something you just can't replicate.
Exactly. It can't be replicated by someone who wasn't there right at the very beginning, who didn't pour their own sweat and soul into that initial idea.
Yeah, you've really hit on something crucial there. It's that personal investment. It creates what you might call a must-win mentality.
Must win.
Exactly. Founders, they often have this intense, almost primal connection to what they've built.
It's more than just a business for them.
Oh, absolutely. It's like an extension of themselves, their vision, their legacy,
Right.
and that deep personal stake. Well, it often translates into this just unmatched will to survive.
And that allows them to make really tough calls, doesn't it?
Brutally difficult decisions. The kind that others, maybe a hired CEO who doesn't have that same intimate connection, might understandably shy away from.
Why? Because the stakes are different.
For a founder, the consequences aren't just professional, they're deeply, profoundly personal.
You see this so starkly illuminated in Ben Horowitz's The Hard Thing About Hard Things. He talks about this moment, a CEO facing just absolute crisis.
I remember this part.
Yeah, and the CEO is thinking, this is a must-win. If EDS drops us, we're fucked and it's over.
Wow. Raw.
Totally. The IPO avoiding the loud cloud bankruptcy, all the layoffs and pain will have been for nothing because we're dead. So our only option is to win. We cannot lose this one.
That just screams moral authority, doesn't it? And that crushing personal burden that falls squarely on a founder.
Yeah, the weight of catastrophic failure. It isn't just some corporate event on a spreadsheet.
No, it's personal devastation.
Which drives this all-or-nothing commitment that's just hard to imagine in another context.
And that's the essence of it, isn't it? This particular mindset, it fosters an incredible level of resilience.
And it can drive innovation too, right?
Absolutely, in ways that a hired CEO who's, primarily accountable to a board and maybe less emotionally invested, they might not go there.
Because the founder's willing to push boundaries further.
Often, yeah. They might pivot radically, accept risks that others would see as just far too high.
It's not just about strategy then.
No, this isn't just crafting a clever strategy on paper. It's a fight. A fight for the very identity and existence of what they've built. It's often this intensely emotional, deeply personal crusade.
For a really vivid illustration of this, you just have to look at Elon Musk.
Oh, for sure.
Ashley Vance's biography, the one on Tesla and SpaceX, it details his crisis management during that incredibly precarious time for Tesla back in, 2013?
Right, when they were really struggling.
Yeah, facing an existential threat. They were trying to convert those Model S reservations into actual cash purchases, bleeding money. The future was really hanging by a thread.
So what did Musk do?
Well, his response wasn't some measured, committee-driven strategy. It was, as Vance puts it, his signature all-or-nothing fashion.
Classic.
He literally pulled people from every single department: recruiting, design, engineering, finance. Everyone. And ordered them to get on the phone and close deals. Told them, I don't care what job you were doing, your new job is delivering cars.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Total reorg on the fly.
And the actions didn't stop there. He ruthlessly fired leaders who weren't performing.
No messing around.
Promoted junior staff who showed initiative, who got results, and crucially, this is amazing, he personally guaranteed the Model S resale price.
Wow. Put his own money on the line.
Think about the weight of that.
Yeah.
Putting his own billions behind a pledge just to reassure hesitant customers.
That just demonstrates that unique founder ability, doesn't it? To completely reorient an organization on a dime.
Break all the traditional roles, the structures.
And leverage that profound personal credibility, that financial stake, to pull the company back from the brink.
It's often chaotic, definitely unconventional.
But undeniably effective, right? That vision-driven response when the chips are truly down, it's like a primal fight for survival.
That kind of high-stakes response is incredible in a crisis, but it also highlights something more enduring about founders, right? That magnetic pull of their personality isn't just for emergencies.
No, it's often the very fabric of their company culture.
Forging deep loyalty.
Deep loyalty, and creating an environment that's just ripe for rapid experimentation, quick learning, quick pivots.
You think of Sam Walton here, right?
Absolutely. As portrayed in Sam Walton, Made in America, he's the absolute epitome of this kind of founder-led culture.
He's known for being incredibly hands-on, very approachable.
Yeah, apparently he would yell at you from a block away, but in a friendly way, engaging, drawing people in with his genuine enthusiasm.
And constantly experiment.
Constantly thinking up new things to try. Big ideas, small ideas. There's that wonderful story about the Zori sandals.
Which we now call thongs or flip-flops.
Oh, right. He saw them selling like crazy in a competitor's store, immediately brought them into Walmart, and they sold like you wouldn't believe.
Shows his intuition, I guess.
His market sense, yeah, but also just his willingness to experiment with simple, bold ideas, and his ability to implement them fast because of his direct personal influence.
And then there's his legendary 10-feet rule.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about that.
He said, I want you to promise that whenever you come within 10 feet of a customer, you will look him in the eye, greet him, and ask you if you can help him.
Simple but powerful.
And it wasn't just some corporate directive memo. He delivered it directly to associates via satellite, personally guaranteeing it would do wonders for you.
That's not just management by objective, is it?
No, it's like evangelism. Walton's leadership was just an extension of his unique personality.
Fostering that high trust, high engagement culture.
which could then implement bold ideas incredibly rapidly because everyone felt personally connected to the mission and, well, to Sam himself.
That direct, almost charismatic connection often ties into a really profound sense of individualism, too. Unwavering conviction.
How so?
Well, you see an extreme but maybe illustrative philosophical foundation for this in something like Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. There's that quote.
Oh, I think I know the one.
If it were true that men could achieve their good by means of turning some men into sacrificial animals, I would refuse. I would reject it as the most contemptible evil. I would fight it with every power I possess. The public good be damned, I will have no part of it.
Pretty uncompromising stuff.
Extremely. But while it's maybe an extreme example, that kind of radical individualism can be a founder's defining trait. That uncompromising belief in their vision.
Even against popular opinion or conventional wisdom.
Exactly. It provides the sheer conviction needed to pursue paths that are truly disruptive. They're often not looking for consensus, are they?
No, they're looking to realize their singular vision.
And this kind of uncompromising belief, this individualism, it really ties into a broader historical idea about leadership, self-reliance.
Like Machiavelli.
Precisely. It reminds me of his Counsel in the Prince, where he talks about Caesar Borgia.
What did he say about Borgia?
Machiavelli noted that Borgia was never esteemed more highly than when everyone saw that he was complete master of his own forces, and that he relied on his own soldiers, on whose fidelity he could always count and found it ever increasing.
So, relying on your own strength, your own team.
Exactly. It speaks to the founder's ultimate authority and their ability to build strength and direction from within, not relying on external forces that might be fickle or constantly having to justify their vision to others.
There's a certain power in just following that internal compass.
Definitely. And this self-reliance, coupled with that unwavering conviction, often manifests as what you might call a founder's birthright.
That's it.
The unique ability to drive innovation by creating entirely new markets or business models, effectively moving beyond the existing competition rather than just optimizing within it.
Art of the Start 2.0 really gets at this essential entrepreneurial spirit, doesn't it?
It does. It emphasizes cutting through the noise, getting quickly to the core problem. It advises cut to the chase when you're developing new ideas.
And the famous line about prototypes.
A prototype is worth 10,000 slides. Absolutely. It's all about hands-on, iterative problem solving.
Finding a real pain point.
Addressing a fundamental pain that you're alleviating for customers. This speaks directly to that dynamic, often messy, but incredibly effective problem solving that's characteristic of founders driven by a genuinely new idea.
They don't just talk about innovation.
They build it, they iterate, they learn by doing.
And that leads us to a deeper understanding of what real innovation actually entails, right? It's not just novelty.
Exactly. Start with why. Clarifies this so well. It says, real innovation changes the course of industries or even society.
That's a huge distinction.
It is, because it differentiates true paradigm-shifting innovation, like, the light bulb or the revolutionary impact of iTunes, from mere novelty.
Like just adding a camera to a phone.
Right. Which is useful, maybe, but not fundamentally changing the game. Founders, more often than not, are the ones who start with why.
Driven by that fundamental belief or insight.
Yes, and that belief creates entirely new categories of products or services rather than just incrementally improving things in an already crowded market.
Which brings us to this idea of moving beyond mere competition, creating that uncontested market space, that blue ocean concept.
Ah, blue ocean strategy, such powerful metaphor from W. Chan Kim and Renee Mauborgne.
Explain it quickly for us.
Well, they talk about escaping the red oceans of bloody competition, where companies are just fighting tooth and nail over shrinking profits.
Sounds exhausting.
It is. And instead, venturing into blue oceans of uncontested market space, characterized by new demand and strong, profitable growth.
Creating a whole new pond to swim in.
Pretty much. And the strategic leap, moving entirely beyond competitive benchmarking and just imitating others, that's very often the brainchild of a founder's fresh perspective.
Someone not constrained by how things have always been done.
Exactly, not weighed down by existing industry paradigms.
Starbucks feels like a perfect example here.
Absolutely. As you read and pour your heart into it, Howard Schultz, with his founder's vision, he didn't just decide to sell coffee more efficiently or cheaper than the competition.
No, it was much bigger than that.
And as predictably irrational might suggest when you look at consumer behavior, he understood people weren't just buying a drink, they wanted something more.
He created that third place experience.
Right. A welcoming, comfortable space between home and work, a place where people could connect, relax, savor a premium product.
It wasn't just about improving on, say, Dunkin' Donuts.
Not at all. That would have been staying in the red ocean. This was a fundamental redefinition of what a coffee shop could be.
Transforming coffee into this premium, differentiated experience.
Yes, and that kind of bold, market-shaping move often requires a founder's unshakable belief and their willingness to create an entirely new value proposition, something others might dismiss as impossible or unnecessary.
Okay, so we've really explored that raw, visionary, often revolutionary power of the founder. They're the spark, right? The initial engine driving a company into existence, often creating entirely new markets.
It's a catalyst.
But what happens next? What happens when that initial spark needs to become, an enduring, powerful flame?
How do you sustain it?
Yeah. What's required to transform a brilliant idea into something robust, scalable, sustainable as an enterprise?
Well, this is where the professional CEO often steps onto the stage.
Bringing that disciplined, systematic approach.
Exactly. An approach that becomes absolutely crucial for scale, for managing complexity, and ultimately for achieving that long-term greatness.
It's a critical transition, isn't it?
Huge. While founders ignite and innovate, professional CEOs often excel at, formalizing things, systematizing, scaling.
Taking that raw potential.
Taking that raw potential, that incredible initial energy, and building the necessary infrastructure around it, transforming it into a robust, sustainable enterprise.
And that systematic discipline isn't just a nice to have.
No, it's foundational for enduring greatness. It ensures the company can actually replicate its success, absorb growth effectively, and weather market changes.
Jim Collins' work, especially in Good to Great and turning goals into results, really illuminates this, doesn't it?
Beautifully. He talks about enduring great companies, not just dreaming big, but setting and rigorously pursuing BHAs.
Those big, hairy, audacious goals.
Right. And crucially, these BHAs have a long time frame, 10 to 30 years or more.
So not just quarterly targets.
Definitely not. These aren't just wishful thinking or short-term goals. They are supported by what Collins calls catalytic mechanisms.
Catalytic mechanisms. Explain that.
Think of Granite Rock, a company Collins studied. They had dozens of these mechanisms operating over a decade.
And what did they do?
Well, they weren't about immediate rewards, that short pay bonuses tied to hitting immediate numbers, which can sometimes incentivize managers to cut corners or ignore the long game.
Right. Short-term thinking.
Instead, these mechanisms were about embedding long-term thinking directly into daily operations. They guided hiring decisions, encouraged smart risk-taking, stimulated new capabilities throughout the organization.
That sounds like a profound difference.
It is. This systematic, long-term approach, often requiring immense patience and very structured implementation, is a hallmark of professional management.
It's focused on sustained evolution, not just the initial explosion.
Exactly. Building a resilient entity that can last for decades. It's about building a machine that not only works brilliantly now, but can adapt, improve, and replicate its success consistently over time.
And when we talk about the foundations of professional management, Peter Drucker is unavoidable.
The father of modern management, really.
Across his works, like The Practice of Management and others, he meticulously outlines those 5 basics of the managerial role.
What are they?
To set objectives, to organize, motivate, and communicate, to measure and to develop people.
The core functions.
Right. And he emphasizes that it's the vision and moral responsibility that, in the last analysis, define the manager.
So it's not just about having a vision.
No, it's about the rigorous, ethical, and disciplined process of how you implement and sustain that vision across a complex organization.
And what makes an effective executive gives a great example of this with Alfred P. Sloan Jr. at General Motors.
How did Sloan operate?
Very methodically. Rather than just relying on gut instinct, he'd first define the desired results clearly. Then he'd meticulously consider all the restraints and potential obstacles.
Okay.
He'd listen intently and patiently in meetings. And then, immediately afterwards, send out short memos.
What were the memos?
They summarized conclusions, assigned specific work, specified deadlines, and assigned clear accountability. Total clarity.
That really underscores the professional CEO's role, doesn't it? Establishing clear processes, fostering accountability.
Institutionalizing an ethics of action for rational, data-driven decision-making, which becomes absolutely crucial for managing those large, complex, scaled organizations.
It's a very different form of leadership than the charismatic founder.
Very different, but no less impactful, especially for achieving long-term stability and predictability.
That systematic approach is clearly vital for guiding a large organization. And transforming and scaling also demands leading through change, fostering deep collaboration.
Which is another area where professional CEOs often shine. They tend to be adept at navigating those complex organizational
And
shifts.
leveraging diverse talents to adapt.
Exactly. Adapting to new market realities. It's a different skill set than just igniting that initial vision.
Satya Nadella's journey at Microsoft seems like a prime modern example here.
Absolutely. As chronicled in Hit Refresh, when he took over, he realized his real task was to motivate the pride and desire in the STB leaders to go there with me.
So it wasn't about dictating from on high.
No, it was about inspiring and co-creating. He aimed to build on their institutional knowledge, recognizing the value already there, and critically to earn the team's respect.
That illustrates a professional CEO's focus on cultural transformation, doesn't it?
Definitely. Developing leadership from within, gaining buy-in through collaboration, empathy, respect, rather than just relying on pure command and control.
He had a vision, but needed everyone on board.
He had a strong point of view for Microsoft's future, absolutely, but he recognized the need to move boldly together, which requires bringing everyone along on that journey.
And for a more maybe structured analytical approach to driving that kind of collective change, Blue Ocean Leadership offers a fascinating process.
Right, that four-step process.
Tell us about it.
It starts with creating what they call as-is leadership canvases. These are visual tools to build a common understanding across the leadership team of what leadership currently looks like. The reality...
Getting everyone on the same page about the starting point.
Precisely. Then, from there, they collaboratively develop to-be leadership profiles to map out the desired future state for leadership behavior. Where do we want to go?
Okay, so you know where you are and where you want to be.
And finally, they implement monthly review meetings to monitor progress and ensure accountability towards those to-be profiles.
That sounds very systematic.
It is. This visual, structured approach is designed to foster collective understanding and move people towards new behaviors. It really contrasts with a potentially more individualistic founder's drive.
It emphasizes clarity, feedback, shared ownership.
All crucial elements in achieving large-scale, sustainable change within an organization.
That kind of structured approach seems essential for big companies.
Yeah.
But it also raises a question, doesn't it? How do you deal with the inevitable internal friction, the dysfunctions that crop up as companies grow?
That's a huge challenge. The 5 dysfunctions of a team gives a vivid picture of this. It describes Catherine, a leader, battling 2 years of behavioral reinforcement around politics within her leadership team.
Sounds familiar for many organizations.
Right. And she needed immense discipline and persistence just to prevent the team from sliding backward into those old destructive habits.
So what did she do?
She actively emphasized working through the actual business issues to full resolution, forcing honest conversations, demanding accountability, not letting things fester.
That highlights the professional CEO's often really challenging role, doesn't it? Directly addressing those internal obstacles.
Fostering functional team dynamics, institutionalizing effective collaboration. It's often a complex, thankless task requiring sustained effort, structured interventions.
And probably a good deal of courage to confront difficult truths.
Absolutely. It's not easy work.
Okay, so beyond the internal dynamics, professional CEOs also bring a highly refined set of skills for strategic adaptability and market navigation.
Which are vital for sustaining competitive advantage, right?
Yeah.
Especially once markets mature or become turbulent. When that initial blue ocean gets crowded and turns red.
Michael Porter's competitive strategy provides the bedrock framework here.
It really does. It focuses on identifying those structural features of industries that determine the strength of the competitive forces and hence industry profitability.
Understanding the landscape.
Exactly. The goal, from a professional CEO's perspective, is to find a position in the industry where the company can best defend itself against these competitive forces or can influence them in its favor.
It's a very analytical, data-driven approach to strategy.
Absolutely. Crucial for navigating complex market dynamics, achieving sustainable advantage. It's a hallmark of seasoned professional leadership. It's about understanding the whole battlefield, not just having one powerful weapon.
And this isn't just about the initial innovation. It's also about that really arduous process of scaling innovation to the mass market.
Right. Crossing the Chasm talks about this extensively. That huge challenge, the tremendous additional work required to transition from those early adopters,
The enthusiasts, the risk takers.
to the mainstream customers, to truly achieve market leadership, which often means capturing, over 50% of new sales in a segment.
That transition requires a very different approach.
It requires a systematic, pragmatic approach to market development, a deep understanding of customer segmentation, a disciplined sales and marketing strategy.
Things that might go beyond a founder's initial lightning-in-a-bottle innovation moment.
Often, yes. It's a different phase requiring different skills.
And the lean startup offers a powerful method for this kind of systematic scaling, doesn't it? Even though it feels entrepreneurial.
It does. While it embodies that entrepreneurial spirit, it advocates for creating minimum viable products to test new ideas and running experiments to tune the engine of growth.
Learning and adapting constantly.
Exactly. This scientific, iterative approach to product development and market validation is fundamentally about systematic execution
Taking that initial spark.
and scaling it in a rigorous, data-driven way. Continually learning, adapting, rather than just relying on sheer intuition or a single grand vision. It's really the professional manager's playbook for continued scalable innovation.
This brings us to a really crucial point in our discussion, I think. Perhaps the debate isn't actually about choosing one style over the other.
But more about understanding how the roles might converge, or when one needs to give way to the other.
Exactly. The best leader isn't static, is it? What a company desperately needs right at its inception is often vastly, fundamentally different from what it requires to scale, to thrive, and, endure for decades.
You've articulated that evolution perfectly. And what's truly insightful here is that even the most powerful, charismatic founders often recognize their own limitations.
And the evolving needs of their company.
Right. Sam Walton again. Despite his incredible personal impact on Walmart, he candidly acknowledged needing different expertise as the company grew.
What did he say?
He famously said, "From day one, we just always found the folks who had the qualities that neither Bud nor I had. And they fit into the niches as the company grew."
Recognizing the gaps.
Yeah. Then every so often, we needed even better talents than we sometimes had on board. And that's when the David Glasses would come along. David Glass was a professional manager who eventually succeeded Walton as CEO.
That's a profound recognition by a founder, isn't it? The limits of a single individual's capabilities.
And the absolute necessity of bringing in professional management to fill those talent gaps and manage the increasing complexity. It's a real testament to his humility and strategic foresight.
That kind of self-awareness is remarkable, and it ties directly into a core insight from blitzscaling.
What's the insight there?
It emphasizes that technological innovation alone is insufficient.
Just having the tech isn't enough.
Right. They argue that the real value creation, the kind that builds empires, comes when innovative technology enables innovative products and services with innovative business models.
Ah, the business model innovation piece.
Exactly. This highlights that while a founder's initial vision might center on a brilliant technological breakthrough, that vision must be paired with strategic business model development and scaling.
Which is often a professional CEO's distinct strength.
To achieve truly massive, enduring value. Think Google, Alibaba, Facebook. Their foundational tech was paired with genius in business model scaling.
It's a critical distinction, and you can see the flip side, right? Consider the stark contrast with Nokia.
Yeah, what happened there?
Well, back in 2007, they were the dominant mobile phone maker. Seemed unassailable, yet they declined dramatically against Apple and Google in the smartphone revolution.
Despite their size and position.
Exactly. Nokia, under professional management at the time, lacked the strategic adaptability and, crucially, the business model innovation needed to embrace the new realities of the smartphone market, the app stores, the ecosystems.
While Apple,
with their ability to blitzscale entirely new business models in that new market, became the most valuable companies, while Nokia just faded.
It shows that initial dominance, even tech prowess, isn't enough.
Not without continuous strategic evolution, and often that requires a different kind of leadership focus than the one that got you there initially.
So if it's not simply one or the other, it definitely points towards an evolving, maybe converging intersection of power and empathy in modern leadership.
That sounds right. Effective leadership, regardless of whether it comes from a founder or a professional manager, increasingly requires this delicate balance.
A balance of influence, perspective taking.
And a deep, nuanced understanding of people and contexts.
The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership captures this pretty succinctly, doesn't it?
With the statement, the true measure of leadership is Influence, nothing more, nothing less.
This is not just about the title.
No. While a founder might possess that natural, almost magnetic, charismatic influence rooted in their origin story and personal connection,
The professional CEO has to build it differently.
often, yes. They must cultivate influence through building strong relationships, demonstrating expertise, achieving a deep understanding of the organization and its diverse stakeholders. It's about earning respect and commitment.
Not just relying on the positional authority that comes with the job title. And it's maybe even more nuanced than that in our hyper-connected, transparent world today.
How so?
To sell is human. Reveals this fascinating inverse relationship between power and perspective taking.
Less power, more perspective.
Sort of, as traditional information asymmetry, where leaders held all the key data and insights, has dwindled because of instant communication and transparency.
Information is everywhere now.
Right. The ability to genuinely understand another person's perspective, getting inside his head and seeing the world through his eyes, becomes not just a nice-to-have skill.
But a core leadership competency.
Exactly. And founders, with their strong, singular personal vision, might inherently struggle more with this sometimes, believing their vision is the only valid one.
Whereas professional CEOs.
Well, they might be more deliberately attuned to developing and using this skill, simply because they're accustomed to managing diverse stakeholders, navigating complex organizational politics, building consensus.
That's a really profound observation. And it leads us, I think, to consider the ultimate foundation for sustainable leadership in any context.
Which
Building a trust-based, principle-centered organization that goes far beyond just top-down directives. It requires a shared vision and genuine company-wide commitment.
Stephen Covey's 7 Habits really articulates this beautifully with that inside-out approach.
You explain that again.
It emphasizes that true, lasting change and effectiveness begin with self-mastery, with our own paradigms, our character, our motives, starting with yourself first.
But instead of trying to fix everyone else.
Right. He warns against those outside-in approaches that just try to change behaviors without addressing the underlying beliefs. He says those often create unhappy people who feel victimized and immobilized.
And he makes that crucial distinction for leaders about efficiency versus effectiveness.
Yes, you can't think efficiency with people.
Yeah.
You think effectiveness with people and efficiency with things. Meaning while processes and resources, things, can be optimized for efficiency, people require an entirely different approach. More empathetic, more collaborative, effective.
And this whole framework suggests something interesting about founders versus professionals, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, while a founder's initial vision is incredibly powerful, absolutely necessary to get things off the ground, creating an organizational mission statement that truly reflects the deep shared vision and values of everyone.
And gains genuine, enthusiastic commitment.
That requires a different set of leadership muscles, perhaps. It demands the patience, the empathy, the principle-centered approach, often cultivated by professional leaders who are focused on long-term organizational health and broad-based engagement.
Covey's core message there seems to be, without involvement, there is no commitment.
Exactly, which means deliberately fostering an environment where people buy into the mission because they feel heard, valued, and empowered.
Not just because they were told what the vision is.
Right. It's a process of building trust and shared ownership. Not a quick fix, not a top-down mandate.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, it feels like we've really journeyed through this dynamic tension, haven't we? Between the founder's raw, often revolutionary spirit.
And the professional CEO's strategic, disciplined approach.
We've seen how figures like Elon Musk, pulling out all the stops, making those intense personal sacrifices for Tesla.
Or Sam Walton, connecting directly with associates, innovating constantly on the fly.
How they embody that founder's unyielding vision, making those high-stakes decisions inspiring through sheer personality and conviction.
And conversely, we've explored how principles from Jim Collins and Peter Drucker really highlight the professional CEO's absolutely critical role.
Building robust systems.
Fostering collaboration, guiding companies to enduring greatness through structured growth and adaptable leadership.
We saw that in Alfred P. Sloan Jr.'s methodical, process-driven leadership at GM, transforming that early collection of car companies into an industrial giant.
And in Satya Nadella's empathetic, culture-focused transformation at Microsoft, proving even a mature behemoth can reinvent itself.
So the sources really show us clearly, don't they? Neither path is inherently superior in all situations.
No, definitely not. Instead, the real question isn't who is better overall.
But maybe, what kind of leadership does this company, at this specific stage of its evolution, facing these unique challenges, truly need right now?
That seems to be the crux of it. Sometimes it's that visionary chaos and raw determination of a founder.
Other times, it's the discipline, order, and systematic execution of a professional CEO.
And very often, maybe the most successful organizations manage to find a careful, evolving blend of both.
They understand the dynamic and leverage the distinct strengths of each.
Knowing when to lean on the founder's conviction and disruptive vision to create those new markets.
And when to embrace the professional's systematic approach to scale, adapt, and sustain that innovation for the long haul.
It's a continuous balancing act, isn't it? A kind of dance between creation and cultivation.
So, as you, our listener, reflect on the leaders and organizations around you, or perhaps consider your own leadership journey, here's a thought.
What would have to be true for one specific leadership style, that passionate founder or that disciplined professional, to truly outshine the other in a particular context? What are those defining conditions?
And maybe even more provocatively, how might we cultivate the strengths of both? That visionary spark that dares to create blue oceans.
And the systematic execution that meticulously builds enduring greatness.
How do we cultivate both within ourselves and within our teams?
It's definitely a challenge worth pondering, and one that drives continuous learning, I think.
Absolutely. Think about that until our next deep dive.